So as we begin our meditation, let's find our sense of being held by the earth, held by gravity. That the earth embraces us. And feeling that sense of support, we can relax. We can feel the earthiness of our being, that the shape, those places of solidity in the body are of the earth. The shape, the form is of the earth and is held by the earth. And from that base, we can also reach upward with the spine lifting, energizing toward the sky, stretching upward, feeling that commitment to stay engaged. That upward movement is an expression of engagement. And during our practice, we can touch into the aliveness of the spine to see, well, if it's there or is it not? Have we kind of gone into a more slumped position or twisted position, habitually twisted, which expresses maybe some kind of mental pattern that we hold in the body. And just by coming back to the lifting of the spine, we can let go of being pulled into a particular state. We can become mindful of it. We can let go of it. And even if you're lying down, you might be able to, it's different. And it has its own, especially if there's a need, a physical need to be in the supine position. But there can be a way of aligning the spine as well. Feel the whole body sitting. Open to the experience of breathing. Feel the whole breath, beginning, middle, end. So feeling the sensation of it, noticing where you feel it. It may not just be in one precise place. It can be helpful to focus on a precise place, but it's not necessary. If it feels more supportive to feel it in different places in the body, if that gathers your attention more effectively, then by all means you can do that. So we're feeling the sensation of it, but we're also feeling the experience of it in different ways. The term for breathing in and breathing out in Pali is anapana. And anapanasati means mindfulness of breathing in and breathing out. And those words ana, breathing in, pana, breathing out, are essentially the same word as prana, that word which evokes the energy of life, living energy. So words point to experiences. What is the experience of anapana in your body, in your awareness? One of the things that we can experience, the Buddha taught in the Anapanasati Sutta, is a calming of the body as we give our attention to the breath. As we collect our attention in the breath. Experiencing the breath in the body. So explore that, if you like, in your practice. Releasing of tension, the relaxation of the body. As we collect our attention into the breath, experiencing the breath in the body. The Buddha pointed out that in this experience of releasing tension, letting go of the holding, the deep holding in the body, gradually, it's not something that happens all at once. But with the releasing of tension in the body, there is an enjoyment that arises. This quality of well-being, relief, perhaps. The Buddha even used the word rapture. And this condition of feeling a pleasant spiritual feeling of release, relief, happiness, joy may be subtle. It's not necessarily something that that is a great big kind of experience that washes through our whole being. It may be something quite subtle. But however it manifests, it lays the foundation for calming the mind. So just as our sitting and drawing our attention into the experience of the breath in the body helps the body to calm, that gives rise to pleasant feelings. Pleasant Vedana is the word. Pleasant non-sensory experiences, which give rise to calming the mind. As we recognize that the source of happiness, the source of joy, the source of well-being is right within us, we stop agitating about how to find some sense of fulfillment. And the mind can relax. So the body and the mind can come to tranquility, calmness. So let's explore that silence. See how it unfolds for you. And please, these are invitations and pointers of a particular way. Please don't feel that it needs to manifest in some way for it to be right. See what's happening within your own experience. As we come to the end of our sitting, I invite you to bring an awareness and a heart of gratitude to the lineage of teachings that from which we are nourished, from which we receive the Dharma. So bringing to mind the different people, the different books, the different venues that have nourished us spiritually, that are a source of strength, a source of wisdom, helping us to retrieve, to resource the wisdom that is alive within us, the heart of compassion and love that is alive within us, the joy that is a natural part of our being. We find the source of happiness within us, and at the same time, we've been taught, we've been instructed, we've learned, it's been pointed out to us how to rest and how to look within and make our home within the heart, within our inner being, within wisdom. And so, how fortunate we are to have encountered in this lifetime people, teachings, resources that have supported that inner journey. And as we see ourselves as part of a river of teachings, a river of blessings, that we also flow on, that those teachings may flow through us, those awakenings, those insights and transformations of the heart may flow through us, touching the hearts, the minds, the beings of others, those who are close to us, and by extension, those who are connected to us in many ways that we may not even be aware of. So just this simple intention in liberating myself, may I benefit others. I'd like to take a few minutes to just open up a topic a little bit, and maybe then you might have some thoughts about this or about any aspect of your practice. One of the foundations for happiness, well-being, joy, which is a great support to our spiritual practice, transformation, awakening, is the practice of virtue. And there are so many ways that we can practice virtue in our lives. And they're not necessarily great heroic ways. The practice of ethics is one of the Eightfold Path, which is the way in which the Buddha set out the whole of the practice for awakening. So the Eightfold Path is divided into three kind of categories. And one of them is sila, ethics, virtue. And another is meditation, and another is wisdom. And so the wisdom actually is taught first. It comes first in the path, like in the numbering of the different factors of the path. But actually, sila is most often taught first, and the Buddha most often taught teachings on ethics, morality, virtue. First of all, he taught generosity. Generosity as a way of sharing. Generosity is such a profound practice that we recognize our interconnectedness with beings when we share what we have. We share what we can share. And so that could be resources, it could be financial resources, it could be physical things. And it's also very much sharing ourselves, sharing our kindness, sharing our caring, sharing our attention to those who can benefit from it, who need it. And when we practice generosity, the Buddha was very explicit about this, it brings joy. And there's nothing wrong in aspiring to experience the joy that comes from feeling our deep interconnection with all of life. There's nothing at all wrong with that. It's a subjective experience, and it's nourishing to us. And so the Buddha said that generosity gives joy and those of you who have been on retreat, when Janet has managed the retreat, may remember her saying this in her Dana talks. She would always say this, Janet Maxwell. Generosity gives joy in three ways. In anticipating it, thinking, yes, I'm going to give, I'm going to help this person, I'm going to donate, I'm going to reach out and, connect, find out how this person's doing. I'm going to be generous with my time. So in the thought, the kind of the arising of the generous impulse, it's a joyful one. And then in the actual act of giving, there's joy. And then in the remembering of the act, there's joy. So the three ways that generosity gives joy. And then the trainings on non-harming. So not to take life, not to take what's not offered, not to steal, not to not to use one's sexuality in ways that are harmful to oneself or others. not to say what is not true or what is hurtful. So using speech in ways that are not harmful, and to not use intoxicants in ways that cloud, create confusion in the mind. And so you notice that these are all phrased first of all in saying what we shouldn't do and what we should refrain from. And this is really so enmeshed with our mindfulness practice, because as we see arising, whether it's in sitting meditation or in daily life, as we see arising an impulse to do something that would create harm for ourselves or for others, when there's mindfulness, we have that space to see it and to say, for my benefit and the benefit of others, I will refrain from causing harm. And the flip side of the refraining from causing harm is the actions that benefit others. So we can think of how we will not take life, and we will protect life. How we will not take what is not offered, and we can be generous. How we will not use our sexuality in ways that will be harmful, and how we can give health and engage in eros, the joy of this, the sensuality of this body's engagement with the living world around it, just by exploring how we are connected to the life around us, exploring what is a wholesome eros. And we will not use speech unskillfully, but we'll use it skillfully to support, to encourage, to share wisdom, to share compassion. And we will not obscure the clarity of the mind, but we will engage our practice to enhance the clarity of the mind. So those are some ways that we can really cultivate wholesomeness in our lives. And this is such a beautiful foundation for development, cultivation of wisdom and kindness and awakening. And it brings well-being to our lives. And so in this time where we might feel challenged, very often teachers would encourage their students to say, take joy in your virtue. Take joy in your virtue. And I remember Joseph Goldstein telling a story about a teacher saying that to him, to take joy in his virtue. And at first he totally misinterpreted it and thought that his teacher was reproaching him for not being virtuous. But that wasn't at all what the teacher was saying. The teacher was saying, in order for you to be dedicated to this spiritual practice, you must have a foundation of virtue. So explore that. Bring that to awareness. Find strength and courage in that. And the teacher said that to him at a time when he was really struggling in his practice. And so we can take joy in our virtue. And if we're finding ourselves feeling frustrated, challenged, we can discover where our virtue is strong, and where it's not strong, we can take joy in developing it. So, thank you for listening.